me start off. Talk some bite down boxing. Last night's card, PBC card, Premier Boxing Champion Series card on FS1. I was, I tuned in with kind of limited expectations. I do like the Amantis Stanionis kid, so I definitely wanted to see him. I missed a month or so ago when he knocked out Justin DeLoach. I missed that in real time. I had to catch it on replay. And, the kid is pretty nice. So I'm going to talk through the card really quickly and then kind of get around to the discussion of are we kind of seeing the next, the next level or the future of the welterweight division with somebody like Stanionis, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Jerome Ennis, who obviously fights Saturday. I don't see any of these guys necessarily getting a title shot against any of the current title holders, any of the current champions. But are we starting to see, the next group of guys who will take over, the welterweight division, for the next 5 to 7 years or whatever? And I think that's kind of what we're getting if you look at it. The only question will be, do any of those guys get a shot at an Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Crawford, before any of those guys move on? So that's basically what we're working our way towards. But looking at the card, the Jose Perez kid, I guess he's fighting under Leo Santa Cruz, coming along up underneath him. I thought he had a pretty decent performance. He took a couple big shots early, and it looked like it got a little shaky for him briefly, but he had more of a plan than the other Jose. And he stepped on the gas a little bit. He landed some big shots, followed them up with more big shots, and the kid didn't really have any, he didn't really have any survival skills or anything. And, he got knocked out. But decent showing from that kid. Had only had 3 knockouts, I think, in his first 6 or 7 wins. And came on there and did his thing. The kid that stood out the most to me, the Mercy, whatever his name was, the Filipino middleweight or whatever that fought Whitfield, he was okay. I think that was his debut, U.S. debut. The one that stood out the most to me was the Fernando Molina kid. And what helped him stand out, I thought, I love the way that Porter, I love the way that Porter called his fight and kind of educated fight fans on some of the little subtle things that the Fernando Molina kid was doing. I mean, he had a nice game. Boxing is a very simple sport. You can do quite a bit with solid, excellent fundamentals. Some of the guys are able to do creative things and, break all the rules and transcend all that type of stuff. There are some fighters out there that can do all of that type of stuff. But sometimes you can just sit and watch somebody who applies all of the fundamentals at the right time, adjusts, looks sharp, comes in shape, and matched against the right opponent, as he was in what was his name? Teodoro Alonso or something. But he just put on an excellent boxing match for a young guy too. I think they said he was 18 or something. But he fought when he wanted to fight. He moved around, when he wanted to move around. He tied the dude up. I mean, he just did everything. It was a very classy performance from a young kid. And like I said, I thought that Sean Porter, who's also going to be on the call tonight for the Ring City card on NBC Sports Network, but I thought Sean Porter did an excellent job in him marveling at this young guy doing some of this stuff. He expressed, and described what was happening and why. And I just enjoyed watching that fight, man. It was a pretty good fight. Moving into the main event was Stanionis against Yanir Gonzalez. I ninth round stoppage. He dropped Gonzalez, I think 2 or 3 times, 3 times, I believe. The body shot, I think some right hooks or overhead rights up top. I thought dude was pretty but like I said, I like Stanionis. You can see that the PBC is investing in him. So you're not gonna go when they told you to go. Okay. The only thing that I can say is that he followed the guy around, the entire night. All 9 rounds, kind of just doing the same thing, fighting in a straight line. And I guess you can do that against certain opponents. One thing that we hear during boxing matches, one of the most popular sayings, when a guy isn't struggling, is to keep doing what you're doing. And that's what Stanionis basically did. He just kept hunting Gonzalez all night, working up and down, going to the body with some vicious shots, ripping the body, and going back up top when necessary. And, not really getting hit a whole lot from Gonzalez. So he just kept doing what he was doing. But this is what I mentioned again about Shakur Stevenson, who did the same thing against Toka Klein Clary. You just follow the guy around, stop, pop, follow the guy around, hop back, jump back in, pop, follow him some more. Like, you can do the same thing all night long, but I would like to see some kind of creativity, to kind of change it up, try something different, because you move on to better opposition where you need to show more tools and problem solve a little bit. When you face a guy like that, you're not gonna be able to walk in those straight lines and just hunt, get to a guy, unload, back up, cover up, reset. You got to do other things. So good performance from Stanionis. He definitely doesn't lose any ground in the division, and good height on the kid. Good tail of the tape. Looks like he stays pretty fit, decent hands. A solid fighter. Like I said, and then going to my my final point that I was gonna make, just about, are we kind of seeing the next crop of guys who will be making noise at welterweight as the current champions and the current elite guys and the top guys in the division, as they get ready to move on and make whatever they're gonna do to for the rest of their career. Like I said, we're not gonna see in all likelihood, we're not gonna see Terrence Crawford against Jaron Ennis. We may not see a Crawford against a Virgil Ortiz Jr. We probably won't see this Stanionis kid. He probably doesn't get to face an arrow. Like, those guys are gonna move on and either retire or go up, or look for fights that work for them, that fit for what they're trying to do in terms of cementing their legacy, or fights that can sell well. And they probably won't have to take the risk of fighting one of these young lions to earn a decent payday. It probably just isn't going to happen. And I mean, in the days of fighters, a lot of the better fighters probably won't find themselves in horrible financial straits at 37, 38, where they got to go out there and take a really risky fight just to try to make one more payday. A lot of these guys are probably going to be, especially, the guys being advised by Al Heyman and whatnot. It seems like he's giving them some more tutelage on how to do better things with their money and whatnot. So I just don't see a lot of these, like I said, a lot of the older guys, I don't see them facing this young group of lions that's coming up. The other interesting thing with that discussion is, what does the PBC controls 3 of the 4 major belts right now. If an Errol Spence Jr. drops his belts and moves on, the bigger and better things, does the PBC really have anybody to to be his successor? You know, can they transfer those belts, you know, to anybody in their ranks and continue to have a hold on one of the best divisions in all of boxing? That remains to be seen. You know, I don't know where Boots is headed. Ennis, I don't know where he's headed in terms of you know, promotional affiliation or whatever. He's kind of just in the middle of some things. I believe he still has some legal stuff to take care of. But you know, that could be you know, something to keep an eye on. Virgil Ortiz being over at Golden Boy for the time being, is he a guy that can come in and get a you know, a look at a vacant title shot, or whatever, you know, can he get into the picture? So that'll be another thing to watch. You know, it's definitely that great for promoters and networks. It's great for you if you can have a you know, a meaningful welterweight fighter who has a legit shot at capturing one of those belts at some point and stay involved in one of the you know, the glamour division of boxing. So that was pretty much it. Oh, like I said, we got action tonight. I made a little video last night about messing around with this Twitch app, trying to find the fights that are streaming, the preliminary fights that are streaming on NBC Sports Network from the Ring City USA card. It only took me about 5 minutes total to get set up on Twitch, on the Twitch TV app. No money involved, but it's another damn email I gotta get, you know, and another password. But you know, you can work that out with Google, you know, with Google, or you can log in with Facebook or whatever, you know, what have you. I was able to find Ring City USA's Twitch account, or whatever you call it. I was able to find it very quickly. You just go to like live TV, I think, and then you go into the browse and type in Ring City USA, all one word. You can have it on your phone in like 5 minutes. Like I said, it's free to watch, you know, to watch the show on there. So if you want to, and that's where you'll have to, that'll be the only way to catch the heavyweight fight tonight with Stephen Shaw and Layun Moir Pinchup. That's where you can watch that fight. So they're scheduled for 8 rounds. You know, I don't know if it goes the distance, but if you like heavyweight boxing, or you just want to support you know, a U.S. heavyweight who's trying to make a name for himself, you know, that's how you can check out that action tonight. They also have 2 other fights that'll be on the Twitch card, on the Twitch stream portion of the card. That's starting at, I believe, I want to say 7 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard. And then, like I said, at 9 p.m. Eastern time, you can head over to NBC Sports Network. They have 3 fights over there. The opener, I'm really not sure what those 2 cats' names are. I think it's a Eastern European cat and maybe a Mexican fighter. I can't really remember my man's name. But then you get into the women's bout. That's the co-main event with Lena Mrnjavčević and Aranda Paola Torres. Like I said, Mrnjavčević is she at least has the WBA. I think last night I said super featherweight. It's actually featherweight, 126 pounds. But she has the WBA belt. And Amanda Serrano, she was supposed to have fought on this card tonight, also possibly being on the streaming portion of the card. But she actually fought down in the Dominican Republic last night and knocked out, I think her last name is Santana, Diana Santana or something. She knocked her out like 2 or 3 years ago in like the 8th round. Last night, Amanda Serrano knocked her out in the 1st round. But that sets up a unification. I think it's just a unification. I don't believe it's an undisputed. But Mrnjavčević, if she wins tonight, her and Amanda Serrano would fight in the near future. or it's early in 2021 as possible. And then in the main event, I definitely have an eye on that. We got Ohio's own, Cleveland, Ohio, super welterweight. The young brother did a lot of media this week. I was just Googling his name earlier today. He was on a bunch of YouTube channels. He was on Sirius XM's, their platforms. If you go to Ring City USA's Instagram page, just like a 5-minute sit down with the Karen Batia cat. It was, like I said, you can Google Charles Conwell. There's a slew of articles out there with him, just trying to crack in, it's tough right now. You got one guy holding 3 belts with Jermell Charlo, and then you have Patrick Teixeira with the WBO. And, those are 2 pretty experienced fighters out there for a kid in Conwell who only has like 13 fights at this point. I think he's 13-0 with 10 knockouts. So Conwell's taking on Matyar Ashkiev. He's 32 years old. I believe he's out of Oxnard. So he's in that Oxnard camp that has all those. He's managed by Igis Klimas. So Klimas has that little platoon of Ukrainians out there in Oxnard, where they train and live and try to make it until the guys start earning some money and whatnot. So I'm not familiar with him at all. I think he's 14-0 with 7 knockouts. Both of them came right in at 154 on the weigh-in yesterday, and I'm expecting it to be a pretty good fight. Conwell, he's fought on all of the platforms at this point. He's been on DAZN. He was on the Usyk, what was my man? Witherspoon. He was on that undercard in Chicago. He was on a top-ranked card like back in 18. He was on a top-ranked card, I believe. That one might have been in like Louisiana and was headlined by Regis Prograis. I think he was on an undercard of him. He was on Showtime, Showbox. He headlined there like 3 months ago against that Wendy Toussaint cat. Got an 8th or 9th round knockout. So he's made the rounds, and it's just trying to showcase his skills. And like I said, get in a discussion to face a guy like, possibly, face a guy like Jermell Charlo. It doesn't seem all that realistic quite at the moment. But, he's been in camp with a lot of guys. I know Tony Harrison. I think he's been in the ring with Boots Ennis, who's, a division below him. But a good kid, man. And one thing that I read yesterday, I forget sometimes, even though I've said he was a 2016 Olympian, with somebody with cats like Teofimo Lopez becoming a unified, lightweight champion. He was on the Honduras Olympic team. Shakur Stevenson was silver medalist for the States. I believe Richardson Hitchens was on was it the Haitian Olympic team? I think that's where he might have went. So it's a couple dudes making some noise, that was in the Rio games. And Conwell is one of the guys trying to take that big step forward as well. Again, what I was just mentioning with the welterweight division, Conwell is going to be very challenging. At 23, it's going to be kind of challenging to get a fight with a guy like Jermell Charlo, who, that fight really doesn't work for him and what he's trying to do in terms of risk and reward. But, you work your way up the rankings and may possibly get yourself into a mandatory position or whatever. Or, you just be ready for that call if, in fact, it should come. So anyway, that's it, man. That was last night's FS1 card. FS1 doesn't do a bad job of, re-airing those cards in case you missed it. So, if you check your local listings and whatnot, you could probably get in there and check them replaying that if you missed it. I know a Wednesday night card isn't all that common, but it is decent to get some boxing during the middle of the week. Like I said, NBC Sports Network tonight, and then tomorrow, you know, you have the action over on the Zone with Triple G and Zaramita, and then Saturday you have the Zone with Canelo and Callum Smith with that card, as well as over on Showtime with Emmanuel Rodriguez and Gilberto, and then Boots Ennis and Chris Van Heerden. So tons of action over the next 72 hours. Enjoy all of that. Let me get on out of here. Bite down boxing, don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. One.